Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to War Thunder. So I was requested by a guy named Kevin in one of the videos, the helicopter video that I had, to show off my updated control setup for War Thunder, from pretty much tanks all the way to helicopters and jets. So far I don't want to show my naval yet because I haven't really fine-tuned it yet. I don't play a lot of naval, so I really haven't had time to fine-tune it. But this control setup will be for, you can use it for PlayStation, you can use it for Xbox, you can use it for PC. I have a controller and keyboard and mouse combo setup, so be ready. You'll see that in here when we get ready to show it. I also will have a PlayStation control layout off to the right hand side, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about, and I'll try to explain it so that way everybody will be able to use these controls. Alright, let's go ahead and get into it real quick, and I will go to the controls. Alright, so we're going to start out with the good old ground vehicles because that's what we're on right now. Ground vehicles, pretty simple layout. We're going to be using our lovely mouse and keyboard for a lot of the vehicle throttles and everything else. Also, your left stick will also be your throttle, so if you click on it, it will also be your throttle. Like if you go to edit access, it will say left stick up down. That will also be your throttle for your tank. So this is pretty much the base for like your PlayStation. Your controls over here on the right hand side. So your left stick is the one off to your left side of your controller. Let's go on down. Control. So like I said, this setup is for mouse and keyboard and controller setup all at the same time. I'm currently playing off the Xbox. I do play on the PC as well, so I just said screw it, let's make it all in one, so that way when I'm on ground forces I use my my controller, and when I'm flying I use my mouse and keyboard, because honestly here lately I've been finding out mouse and keyboard is pretty dominant in the flying sector. Controller really does the good job at fighting for the ground forces side. So anyway, besides that, so we have for our fire control, our main caliber is our left click and RT button. So for you PlayStation players, that would be your R2 button on your controller. For your secondary fire, for your gun, will be your LT. For PlayStation, it'll be L2 and your left stick. Press in your left stick. For mouse and keyboard, it is press in the middle circle or the road wheel. Machine gun is spacebar and RB for Xbox, and then for PlayStation, that will be your R1 trigger. Some of these controls you guys can skip and not use. That is totally up to you. This is just the way mine is set up. So I have a lot of controls that are just staying on mouse and keyboard because I do not use them, like fire from special guns. I don't really use those quite often. Smoke grenades, and all that. But you can, for my controller, I have X for firing my smoke grenades because it's on the event controller down below, which you'll see it here in a minute. And for PlayStation, that will be your square button. So anyway, for your next shell, I have for X and D-pad up. So for PlayStation, that is your square and D-pad up. Okay, so lock, weapon lock, and all that we have. I'm just going to go down here and go quickly as possible so that way you guys can see it. Some of these controls I have for mouse and keyboard, so if you see different letters, this is mouse and keyboard. Lock on IR targets is R. Night vision is cap lock for my keyboard, and then for Xbox it is X and D-pad down. For PlayStation, that is square and D-pad down. For aiming controls, that is my left trigger, and then left shift for mouse and keyboard. For PlayStation, that will be your L2 button for zoom camera, and then for your sniper mode, that will be your L1 button, and LB for Xbox, and right click for keyboard. For my binoculars, will be pressing your right control stick for Xbox and PlayStation, and Q for keyboard. Tracking enemy targets for ground vehicles for console, this is mainly what this is for. It doesn't work too well for PC, so that's why I have nothing bound to it for PC. For the controller, just pressing your left stick. Same goes for PlayStation as well. Your zoom and all this, you don't have to worry about this. This is mainly for PC, so as you see, this is all what mine is. Scroll wheel, up, down. View battlefield is left and right. And then if you do use this off a console setup, it will automatically always be there for some things, not everything, so be aware. And then your aim tracking, it will have right here. You'll have to put it in for your tank aiming access, left to right for right stick, and then also right stick up and down if you want to use this mouse, keyboard, and controller combo. Note, if you only use the mouse and keyboard, it will pretty much always come up setup. You'll have to change some things as you want. Controller, same way. You'll just have to change some things. Gamepad acceleration 55%. Aim acceleration delay 75%. Mouse wheel multiplier is 15%. Ground vehicle repair for my controller is A button, and F. For PlayStation, that'll be your X, and then fire extinguish will also be your X button for PlayStation, and then for Xbox it is A and 6 for the good O keyboard. Sorry, had to think of it for a second. X is my event key menu, what I told you earlier. That it will be square for PlayStation, and I don't use it at all for the mouse and keyboard because I have easy key bindings, as you see, all the way down through here, so I don't need it. D-pad to the right for active scouting. That can be for PlayStation as well, and then V for keyboard. For UAV launch, that is included in your event menu, so you do not have to keybind any of this right here, so be aware of that. Your vehicle control, you don't have to set up. Range finding, you do. I have D-pad to the left, and then active scouting is to the right. My bad. Totally said wrong. Active scouting is to the right. Range finding is to the left. For my distance control, you click on this to set this up. If you want to know how to set up your distant controls, you just go into it. You hit A. Or for PlayStation it's X, and then you hit D-pad up for increase and D-pad down for decrease. So get out of that. Alright, we're going to move on to aircraft real quick. Okay, so for our aircraft, we're going to go all the way up to the top here. Hover mode we have for 7. Don't really need that for anything but Harriers. And then your throttle acceleration, you will have to set up for controller if you use this combination. If not, don't worry about it. It's automatically set up for the controllers. It will be your left stick for PlayStation or Xbox. And then same goes for anything else. For roll, it's the left stick, left, right, and then it'll automatically be set up for everything like that. Ignite boosters is 9. I have keyboards set up for it. You can set up a lot of these controls on your own. Because I use multiple setups. My setup, like I said, is different than everybody. Every once in a while, I'll use my controller if I don't feel like using my keyboard, but mostly use my keyboard when it comes to flying. So toggle flaps for planes will be D-pad to the left. Air brakes will D-pad to the press up on D-pad. Gear down is D-pad on the right. As you see that F and all these other ones are also for my good O keyboard. So if you want to take a look at them, I am going to go slow for you. And then for all your shooting, I have for my right trigger for the Xbox and left click for the mouse, and then also for PlayStation, this is your R2 button, so make sure you have that down there for you. Primary firing weapons is R2. Secondary fire weapons is spacebar and RB for Xbox and R1 for PlayStation. Visual weapon selector, cap lock. Open bomb bay doors 6. Drop bombs is RB, which you still have this as fire your secondary weapons. So if you don't have that set up, it will be a lot of the R1. So if you want to set all these up, just set up for your R1. Exit weapon selection for the aircraft we have as X and D-pad to the left. So for PlayStation, that is square. It should be square and D-pad to the left. Yes. And then for switching secondary weapons, it is X and D-pad up. For keyboard is 1. And then for PlayStation, that is square and D-pad up. For countermeasures, will be L1 for PlayStation, LB for Xbox, and R for keyboard. Laser designation I have as my A button for Xbox, so that'd be X for PlayStation, and then that will be Alt L for keyboard. And then as you see, I'm going to go slow because most of these are the original key bindings for keyboard. I haven't really messed with a lot of them except for our changing radars. Changing radar I have as 2, and then A in D-pad up for changing radar modes from IRST modes, and then that will be X and D-pad up for PlayStation. Radar IRST beyond visual range combat I have 3, and A and D-pad to the right, and then for PlayStation that is X and D-pad to the right. For changing radar modes, to search modes, that is 4 and A, 4 for keyboard, A plus D-pad down for Xbox, and X for and D-pad down for PlayStation. Lock on select radar targets is A button and A button, and then cap lock and cap lock for keyboard, and then X and X for PlayStation. And then a lot of these other things I don't have set up for anything for console wise. It's all just mouse and keyboard beyond that. And then for toggling views, I have for the keyboard is V button, the V key and Y button for Xbox, and then it is triangle for PlayStation. And then aim access is my left trigger for tracking targets, X button for keyboard, and then that will be also press and left stick for PlayStation as well. And then switching NVD mode is X and D-pad down for PlayStation, that is square and D-pad down. And then and my gunner view sensitivity is at 65%. My maximum zoom sensitivity is at 100%, and then my aim control speed's at 6%. My gamepad acceleration 0. My aim acceleration delay is at 45. Oh, and then on your instructor, I have no for restriction near the ground, and auto control of engines I have off as well. Landing gear and flaps, I sometimes forget to shut them off, so I have those still on, but I shut them off every once in a while depending on what I need. But that is, and then if you're wondering one more thing, the mouse wheel multiplier is 45%. Alright, and then now we're going to jump over to helicopters, and then that will be it for today, and then I will show you the naval and common and spectator cam later on. Alright, let's go to the helicopters real quick. Very simple. Pretty much the same setup. Hover mode we have for D-pad to the left. Manual roll control we have D-pad up. For PC it is H and 1. Same goes, you will have, if you do the keyboard and mouse setup with a controller, you will have to set this up yourself. So make sure you know that. Your collective you want for your left stick up and left stick down. For hover height you want it to set that up for left stick up and down. For your roll you want left stick left and right. And then so when you get that all set up, if you don't have it automatically set for controllers, you will have to set that up. So just keynote. Helicopters I have for my right trigger and left click for PlayStation, that is your R2 button. Same concept as the planes. RB for firing secondary weapons. That will be your R1 key or your R1 button for PlayStation. And then a lot of the other buttons are, not really needed a whole lot. You can play with it as you see fit. Selecting your secondary weapons I have is D-pad to the right. So make sure you set that up. And then for firing countermeasures, that is your L1 button on your PlayStation controller. And then R for keyboard and LB for Xbox. Space is my fire air-to-ground missiles, but if you have secondary weapons on, you do not have to worry about selecting any of this. So keynote, try to have your secondary weapons selected on, because it will be a pain in the butt if you do not. Missile control is at 100%, and missile sensitivity max zoom is at 100%. Toggling view is V for keyboard, Y button for Xbox, and triangle for PlayStation. X is our sight stability is F, and X for Xbox, and square for PlayStation. Disable sight stabilization is T and X, and square for PlayStation. Alright, zoom access we have for our right mouse click, and then left trigger for good old Xbox. But if you have this set up for just controller, this will automatically be set, so you will not have to worry about that. If you want to do the combo setup, you will have to set this up yourself, just to be warned. And then same goes for the aim access. It is automatically set up for mouse and keyboard if you want to just have that, or if you want to have this combo setup, you have to set your aim access up for your chopper yourself. Also, our gamepad accelerator is at 0%. Our aim acceleration delay is 50%, and then our helicopter multiplier is at 50%. Landing gear we have automatically on. Toggle extinguishers we have 6 and A for the good old helicopters, and X for PlayStation. And that is it for my control setups. I will keep fine tuning it and bring out more for you guys to see, but I will real quickly go into my helicopter real quick. So let me jump into my chopper real quick, and I'm going to use mouse and keyboard real quick, and I'll show you what the fine tuning of like using manual roll. So I had somebody ask me about choppers, so I'm gonna shut off manual roll right now. So when you turn right, you see how your chopper wants to correct itself instantly, and it kind of slows you down. Well, if you turn on manual roll and you're going at 110, and you put to where it doesn't change your direction, your speed doesn't get affected as bad, and you can manually roll this yourself. Same goes for the controller. You can do this on the controller as well, because I'll switch over to my controller real quick. I am now on controller. Hit D-pad up, and my manual roll is off. Turn it back on, and it is just the same. I know you guys can't see me switch it, but you probably can hear the controller right there. But yeah, so that is my control setup. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Please let me know down in the comments down below and give me some feedback on it. And I'll see you all at the next video.